As they say in my kids' schools, it's time to show what you know. It's quiz time, but don't worry too much. I just want to make sure you were awake during these past few lectures. First question, the schema for your documents. That is the definition of what sort of information is stored within your document. Is that defined by the index itself, the cluster settings, or the document itself? Where is the information stored as to the actual schema, the data types of the information that the document contains? The answer is the index, or technically the document type associated with the index. Remember, the index is kind of like a database table, and you can only have one type of document in a given index. It defines the individual fields and what data types they are that a document contains. So again, going back to the example of an Apache log entry, the type associated with that index might define things like the URL that was requested, or the status code and the request time and the referring URL and things like that. Or for storing something like Wikipedia entries, that might just include things like the text of the article itself. The author of the article, the title of the article, things like that. It's all defined by the type mapping inside a document's index. And again, we define type mapping in Elasticsearch when we're setting up our indices. Question 2. What purpose do inverted indices serve in a search engine? This isn't just specific to Elasticsearch, it's in general for search engines too. Does an inverted index allow you to search phrases in reverse order? Do they quickly map search terms to the documents that they reside within? Or are they a load balancing mechanism for balancing search requests across your entire cluster? What do you think the answer is? If you said the second one, you're right. They quickly map search terms to documents. Remember, an inverted index simply maps out specific search query terms to the documents that they live in. So as you index documents, an inverted index is actually created where it splits those documents into its search terms. And it serves as a very quick lookup of where to find those search terms in any given document. Next question. If I have an index configured for 5 primary shards and 3 replicas, how many shards would I have in total? A little bit tricky here. Think about that for a little bit. The answer is 8, 15, or 20. I can think of ways of doing the math so you can get any of those answers. But the correct answer is, pause if you still have to think about it, no cheating. The answer is 20 shards. So the way it works is that I have 5 primary shards. I start with 5 shards, and then I want 3 replicas of each shard as well. So 3 times 5 is 15. So I end up with 5 primaries and 15 replica shards for a total of 20 shards. In this particular example, remember how this works because they can add up fast. And remember, a given node can actually contain many different shards. So you know it will distribute shards among nodes in whatever way makes sense on your cluster automatically. Just because they have 20 shards does not mean that I need to have 20 machines in my cluster. We can have many shards on a given node. Next question. Elasticsearch is built only for full text search of documents. True or false? Well, you got a 50-50 shot on this one. But if you've been paying attention at all, you know the answer is false. Elasticsearch can index any sort of structured data with any kind of mapping you can dream up. So it's not just for full text search anymore. It's not just for searching encyclopedias or websites and blogs. Elasticsearch can also be used for searching and even aggregating and visualizing numerical data or time-based data or whatever you can dream up. And increasingly, it's being used as a tool, for example, for aggregating weblogs from web servers and sort of building a system that can compete with Google Analytics and things like that. So Elasticsearch, it's not just for search anymore. How'd you do on the quiz? Hope you did pretty well there. If not, go back and review those first few lectures because these are important concepts that will provide the underpinning for all the stuff that we're about to be doing going forward. But with all this conceptual stuff under our belt, we can now roll up our sleeves and do some more hands-on activities, so let's get busy.